Alright, so welcome to my course. It's about supply and demand zones, finding supply and demand zones in the market. And I'm very excited. I didn't write a script for this. I just want to actually provide you guys with information as I know it in my head. So it took me about 3 years to actually learn in my trading plan what it's actually all about and how I can make it profitably in the market. So it took me about 2 to 3 years to actually write everything down in my trading plan and my trading rules because I changed them many times. Um, the reason I had to do this because if you want to be profitable in the market, you have to write down every single trade in your trading plan, and by doing this, you can go back in your trading plan after a few months or a few years even, and you can check all your trades, the winning ones and the losing ones, and you can compare them. You will see which ones, what do the losing trades have in common, and what do the winning trades have in common. If you find those, you find the things that look like each other. For example, I'm drawing demand zone and I see a double bottom and the trade loses. The trade reverses and it loses. Well, actually, the first time that you see that trade, second time you won't really see it. If you just if you journal every trade, you eventually see which trades are winning and which trades are losing, and that way you will be profitable. All right. So looking at this, let's just clean this chart up. It's not that the best. The best is not the best example. Maybe just look for an example in the charts because I'm not going to replay the charts. Reason for this is because that's just too easy. You can already see which is going to happen, what is going to happen. I think it's more real when you actually when you're looking for it and when it already happened, of course. But you have to really see you have to really see why these demand zones are so important. The setups happen all the time. The setups happen every day. Now I'm going to just show you guys what is a simple demand zone. Right here, a demand zone. So first of all, what is a demand zone? That's the first thing that I'm going to explain to you guys. So a demand zone, just draw it right here. Demand zone is an area or a zone in a chart which has a significant push up or down before the zone. So when you see an opposite color like this, an opposite color, this one is red, this one is blue. In normal charts, it's green and red, but I just like this layout. Um, all right, so as you can see right here, we see a this is the zone here. All right, so we see a small wick. That's a very good indication of a valid demand zone. When you see a wick pattern right here. So when we see a wick, oh, I don't know what happened there. A wick right here. So when we see a wick and then we see a big push up, that means we are having a demand zone, because in demand zone is the opposite as a supply zone. A supply zone would be when there would be a wick here and a big push down. That will be a supply zone. So if price comes back, it will probably dump. And right here, this is a demand zone. So price went up all the way. It left behind an imbalance, which is also a very important indication. So it left behind an imbalance right here. So that's what we're gonna draw, an imbalance. So this means that it's already valid. But what the second thing it does, and this is also very important, it left behind a break of structure. BOS right here broke this structure. So this structure is what's it broke. So there was a big push up, and then we get a break of structure right here. So we are going to add it in EOS. Yeah, my phone is almost empty, so I need to recharge that ASAP. BOS right there. All right, so a wick, once again a wick, an imbalance, and a BOS. Big push to the upside, and then all we need to do when we get these three confirmations, all that we need to do is we need to wait for price to come down, not too fast, not too slow, and touch the zone. And when we get that touch, when we get this touch, it is important to enter as soon as possible. Don't hesitate because you have all your confirmations down. This is important if you want to be profitable in the market. You can be scared. You have to enter when there's that setup that looks perfect like this one. So first touch right here. First touch. So this is what we are looking for in the market. This is what my whole strategy is based on. And the last thing is that we need a 1 to 3 RR. I'm always using a 1 to 3 RR. I'm gonna come back to that later. But the main reason for this is because it messes up the numbers when you are using different RRs. And I just want to set and forget. I want to put in the trade. I want to place the trade, and then I want to close the screen and exit. That's what I want. That's what I prefer. I want to exit. So I want to 3R. You place a trade, and when you place the trade, you're gonna put your stop loss just below that candle that touches. And yeah, that's about it. That's my strategy. And of course, there are a lot of rules that I will give you the details on the next lessons or the next. And of course, there will be much more details and much more different rules. But this is a summary of my strategy. It's very simple, very effective. It's very effective. And I will be covering all those other things in the next lesson. This lesson is just the basics. What is demand zone? What do we wait for? We wait for a wick. We wait for a BOS and an imbalance. If we get that, we have a valid demand zone or supply zone. We place the demand zone or supply zone, and we wait for the touch. If it touches and it gives a big push to the upside, we know that that's a valid zone. We know that the zone is very strong, and we will enter. And of course, for a supply zone, this works the same. BOS to the downside, a wick, blue wick in my case, or a green wick. I'm sorry. We need an imbalance to the downside. We need a touch. We need supply zone, and we wait for price to dump down. We get in the trade. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but I'm going to cover every detail in the next video. So stay tuned for that. I will see you guys there. So thank you for watching the first lesson, and I'll see you in the next.